This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
The Fatal Four-Way, live here on ONTV, along with Brian Balf. I'm Jason Klaus. Conspicuous by their absences is the other half of our team here tonight.
Fatal two-way.
Double trouble, as it were. But be that as it may, Quado Edwards is en route here. He got tied up in traffic. Apparently, Sean Grugel is unable to be here. We are hoping to hear from him via phone call later on here tonight. We have a lot to talk about here, Brian. We'll start with the breaking news that happened earlier this afternoon. We kind of saw this coming, although we were hoping that it was not going to be a thing, and that is Wrestlemania 43 is apparently heading to Saudi Arabia in March of 2027, and I don't know, man. There are some things that should be just left alone. I realize the business, any kind of sports and or entertainment, you have to evolve with the times. I understand that. But this was one of the things when TKO became a thing and WWE was put under this umbrella with the UFC. This was one of the things I was really worried about, that they were going to put profit over the fanfare. And that is exactly what's happening here, because you and I talked right before we came on the air here. Okay, they made this groundbreaking announcement. WWE is supposed to be all on board with this, but I just went on to one of the sites that I follow, and they took pictures of some of the talent that were part of this press conference. Not a smile to be found.
No, it was Shawn, Undertaker,
Seth
Bianca,
Rollins.
Stephanie, Seth.
Yeah. Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair, yep.
Not a one of them looked happy about this announcement, because WrestleMania, for 4 decades has been the crown jewel, no pun intended, of sports entertainment. This is the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. It has traditionally been primarily held in the United States, with a couple of exceptions held in Canada. But now you're talking about going to a completely different other side of the world here. Yeah. You and I talked, as much as we would love to be a part of that WrestleMania experience, there is no way we're going to Saudi Arabia to take. We're not taking our families there. We're not doing anything with that, because number one, and I know this is going to get somewhat controversial, for me, I don't feel like this is a safe environment, at least not safe enough to where I'm going to be packing my family up, jet across the world to watch a wrestling show. You know what I mean?
I mean, not only for you, until just recently, most women didn't feel safe. I just don't understand how... Already they priced everyone out. They already priced everyone out ticket-wise.
Right.
Like, I was talking to my wife on the way here. I was telling you that. I remember being a kid, working at Kroger, making $5.25. Me and my buddy sitting outside the Dow Event Center, and we were able to get front row tickets to a Thunder, a Nitro, a Raw, and I paid like $35.
Right.
You completely priced me out on being able to take my whole family to a wrestling event. Now, Amber said the last time she didn't go to it, Amber being my wife, because it didn't make sense for her, because she goes for us because the rest of the family likes it. Mm-hmm. But she goes, I can't see spending $200 on a ticket for me when it's not something I enjoy.
Great point, because Samantha and I went to Monday Night Raw when it was in Detroit in August. We sat at the very top of Little Caesars Arena, and those tickets were $100 a piece.
So if I can't afford the tickets, how am I going to afford the tickets and a flight to Saudi Arabia and a hotel?
Yeah.
And with the money that you're going to spend while you're there, like.
It's absolutely insane, and this is going to lead. I'm going to use this as a catalyst for a segment later on in the show. Quadell Edwards is now with us.
Oh, hey!
Yeah. Say his name and he appears.
It didn't work. We said your name a couple times.
Yeah. We've been calling all kinds
There's
of
a lot
stuff.
of names.
but
I'm on a different kind of time, you know. I'm on a different kind of time.
Oh, that might have been said.
Yeah.
that. Q, let's get your opinion on this. You know, we were worried about this. It came to fruition this afternoon. This groundbreaking announcement: WrestleMania 43 is heading to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Taking Royal Rumble there next year was one thing. Okay, it was one of the big four. I wasn't happy about it, but I could understand. Now we're talking about the crown jewel of sports entertainment, the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, the biggest show of the year. And as Brian and I were just breaking this down, there is no way that he and I are going to even attempt to make plans to go to Riyadh to watch WrestleMania 43. And I got to believe that among the millions of wrestling fans in North America alone, I don't know, bro, this is not something that I think is going to be in the ultimate best interest of WWE. This is completely a TKO thing. What's your opinion on this?
This whole thing, well, for one, it doesn't surprise me, because I know that, like, ever since they announced the whole Royal Rumble deal thing, and I knew that was going to be like a test.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's move the first big event over to Saudi Arabia. I didn't think they were going to do next year. I thought they might do like the following year. They might want to wait and to see how Rumble does before they actually do something like that. But man, Saudi is very aggressive on getting what they want.
Right.
You see, they're already talking about they want The Rock in the main event.
Look,
Stone Cold,
yeah,
and
Undertaker.
They want Undertaker. They want Yokozuna to come back from the dead. I mean, they want all kind of. They're just throwing money out. We're talking about like almost $100 million just to get this event.
Right, and that's what it boiled down to.
And that's the problem, because TKO sees that check and they're going to take that check every time. That's why we see a WrestleMania in Vegas 2 years in a row, and now we see it in Saudi Arabia.
Right. You know, he had made mention for us here in the state of Michigan, the way this is set up right now. Detroit doesn't have a snowball chance in hell to host WrestleMania. Now, on the other side of that, if I'm New Orleans, I am extremely PO'd, because they were promised a future WrestleMania. Yeah. Minneapolis was promised a future WrestleMania. Now, all of these things are getting pushed back. Now, what's happening is, and again, we'll spend more time on this later on in the show, but you're not only pricing out your fan base, you're pissing them off at the same time. And when you get, that kind of anger, like real anger involved in this, man, people are going to start turning away. And I'm not saying they're going to necessarily flock to All Elite Wrestling, or they're just going to abandon pro wrestling altogether. That's what I'm worried about. Yeah. Do you see that being a thing?
Oh, absolutely, because this is a Saudi pleaser right here. This is what this is for Saudi Arabia. This is not even for us. And it's crazy because the first WrestleMania international show, I mean, we skipped London.
Yeah.
We skipped a lot of these other places that have been waiting. And France, one of the best crowds
that they have
in the world.
Crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And we're skipping over them to go to Saudi Arabia. So that speaks volume right there.
All for the almighty dollar. And when this came down the wire this morning, I was with my girl, and I said I would have been totally cool if they had done this at Wembley Stadium, because they have, the British wrestling fans, they're very passionate too, and they have had a couple of the all-in, pay-per-views from AEW. They had SummerSlam '92.
Yeah.
I had my fundamental feelings about the Saudi shows to begin with when they started doing Crown Jewel and things like this, which fine, you want to make that exclusive to them. Like, I'll watch it on TV, but I'm not going to be nearly as invested in it. I'm watching it because I'm a fan of pro wrestling.
Right.
But
yeah.
my passion for it is not there. Because now, just like we talked about months ago, the passion for TKO is no longer in the product. It is in the paycheck. And you said it perfectly. $100 million to bring WrestleMania, and it's going to be a 2-night thing, like they're doing. I look at this logo on the screen, and I'm not going to lie. It makes me sick because you want to take Royal Rumble there, fine. You want to take the Survivor Series there, fine. Whatever. I'm not happy about it. But man, you are stripping of what you are, in my view, stripping away the magic that made WrestleMania what it is. You can bring out everybody under the sun. You can book Rock versus Roman Reigns. We've been waiting for this match for the last 3 years. You can put this match as the main event, and I'm still not going to have that same kind of passion that I would if it was held virtually anywhere else in the world. Would you agree with that?
100%. And when you're, it's very frustrating because when I heard it was officially announced, part of me immediately went, I kind of feel like I want to skip it. Look, maybe I won't watch this one, which seems crazy because obviously we have the show. How
Right.
would I possibly do that?
Right.
Also, as a fan, I don't want to skip it. But how else do I show my displeasure with this? How else do we tell them, no, leave this alone? Like you said, if you want to do these other shows, fine. But leave WrestleMania here for us.
Right.
Like I said, I feel like I'm waiting for Detroit. I'm like, we showed them when they had the draft. Like, give us, like the draft for the Super Bowl, or for the NFL, I mean. Like, look at what we came out. We came out in numbers. We had the largest record crowd. We support sports. And go back to WrestleMania 3. It's like Michigan, I think we get skipped over, and it's starting to be very frustrating for me.
Sure.
And I'm like, honestly, I'll say, like, when I went onto the official WWE page and for the video, I just put boo, boo, boo as my comment. I'm like, our voices need to be heard. We got to do something to show them. Like, if you want to chase money, that's fine, but you're going to lose us. You're going to lose your fans. Because, I mean, we're talking about this, but like we talked earlier, the president, like one of the guys from TKO came out and said Vince McMahon was pricing tickets for families, and that's not what we do at UFC, and it's not. They're not expanding themselves to making the profits that they could. Yeah, because it's not about money sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes it's giving your fan base what they want.
I'm going to save the promo for the last segment of the show because what you just said just triggered me. But we're gonna hold.
I trigger people a lot.
So we will obviously monitor this situation as we get closer because, like you said, we still have a couple of years to go here, or a year and a half before we get to this point. Las Vegas, Nevada does get WrestleMania 42 this coming April. So, let's focus. Let's kind of focus on that. But yeah, I guess if you are in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, okay, you're happy. Okay, I get it. Bravo to you. But if you are outside the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I got to believe that the tipping scale is on the negative side in the grand scheme of things. Another piece of news that came down the wire this week and had me feeling a certain kind of way was this unfortunate news that wrestling legend, WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler has suffered yet another stroke, his third one since 2018. Jerry Lawler is, when we talk about the all-time greats in professional wrestling, we were quick to mention names like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino. Jerry Lawler has been wrestling for 50 plus years. Like, the guy has had a career unlike anybody else. Not only as an in-ring performer, but also as a longtime promoter of Memphis wrestling, where he was legitimately the king of Memphis. Like, the guy was so popular, he ran for mayor of the city of Memphis. He lost, but like, that's how you know that he was very much dialed into that community. And along the way, he would gain national and ultimately worldwide recognition because of his contributions to the sport. First with the AWA, winning their world title from Kerry Von Erich in 1990, before making the ultimate move to WWE, where he had a good feud with Bret the Hitman Hart, which was very entertaining. They did some amazing things there. But it was his work behind the broadcast booth that really put him on another level in terms of our fandom. Forming a legendary team with Jim Ross, the voices of the Attitude Era and beyond. But now he is at 75 years old, suffered yet another stroke here, and we wanted to take a moment and send our best wishes to Jerry the King Lawler, because, listen, it's unfortunate because he's not going to get his flowers until his final bell rings, and that's what I want to avoid, because when you talk about Flair, you talk about Hogan, you can add Steve Austin into that conversation, you can add The Rock into that conversation. These larger-than-life icons, Jerry the King Lawler needs to be put on that pedestal because of everything that he has done in the world of professional wrestling. Q, do you have a particular fanfare for Jerry Lawler? Have you been following him? Did you follow him when he was the king of Memphis?
Yeah, I have a lot of fond memories of Jerry Lawler. Like, when you say king, a lot of people might say Harley Race, people might say Macho King, but when I hear king, I think Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Lawler, he is the king of Memphis, and he's the king of color commentary.
Yeah.
He's the guy that, his jokes might be kind of like dad jokes, and now that I'm a dad, I feel like I resonate with him a lot more, when you go back and listen to all the puppies and all that stuff.
We talked about doing like a wrestling association game, and if you say Jerry the King Lawler, puppies is like one of the first things that comes to my mind.
I never heard puppies until, he started saying puppies. I'm like, oh man, that's what you call them? All right. But yeah, I love that guy. I mean, I love Jerry Lawler, and it was good to see him like doing like some of the pre-shows that he was doing, and it was just good to see him because he actually still looks good.
Yeah.
For his age. He had the on-air heart attack. I mean, he stroke after stroke, and he still looks pretty good. He might not sound the same, but man, I say you got to give these guys their flowers. Like, seeing the health problems that JR has had, over the years, and him beating cancer and all of this stuff, and now you're seeing what's going on with Jerry Lawler. Man, these dudes, they were the voices of the Attitude Era. You can't take that away from them.
Brian, it's things like this that puts life in perspective beyond professional wrestling, right?
Yes.
But, that's why, when everything happened with Hulk Hogan, of several weeks ago at this point, it was at that point that even his harshest critics were like, damn, man, we should have taken time to really give this man the respect that he earned within the realm of professional wrestling. And that's not to say that Jerry Lawler hasn't had his fair share of controversy outside the ring, failed marriages and other allegations that come up. We're not talking about that. We're talking about what the guy did in the business as a promoter for Memphis. Like, he helped spearhead some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. The Undertaker comes to mind, because in the ring, he wrestled everybody. He wrestled Hogan. He wrestled Flair. The Macho Man. Like, he had a Hall of Fame career before there was a Hall of Fame. What's your favorite part of Jerry the King Lawler's contributions to pro wrestling? Is it commentary?
No, I mean, that's like the Attitude Era. Like, and when I think of commentary, if I don't think of McMahon and Jesse the Body, I think of Jim and Jerry, which scares me because, like, what was Vince doing to cause these guys to have so many strokes? But other than the commentary, really for me, it was him and Andy Kaufman late night.
Yeah.
Because as much as people were like, wrestling's fake, that right there caused people to stop and be like, whoa, wait, is this real? Like, that was the thing for me when I think of Jerry. Like, that's the one that comes to my mind, because they were able to, like, pull the wool over people's eyes and make them actually stop and think, like, man, I don't know, this might be something.
For sure, and that was probably, that's what put him on the national map, because not only were the wrestling outlets talking about this, the slap heard across the world.
Oh, yeah.
But your regular mainstream news outlets had picked up on it, and kudos to both Lawler and Kaufman for making it happen, because David Letterman was out of the loop.
Yeah.
He had no idea what was going on, and we didn't really know that until the biopic of Andy Kaufman had come out several years ago, Man on the Moon, I believe it was called. Because I wondered, I'm as dialed into pro wrestling as anybody is, and I was sitting there like, man, what all went into this?
If you still watch that back even now, it's like, man, they did a great job.
Yeah, man, he cuffed him too, knocked the
he did.
spit right out of his mouth, man. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. All right, so we wanted to send our best wishes to Jerry the King Lawler for a speedy recovery. We saw him earlier this year after his most recent stroke. Monday Night Raw was in Memphis, and they had brought him out during a commercial break. I really wish they had done that live, but thank God that they had the cameras rolling so we were able to see it. So go on YouTube. It's worth a watch just to see the reaction, the absolute love and respect that crowd bestowed upon him. Very, very much, very well deserved. I was actually in Detroit when both he and Ross Jr. were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. William Shatner, of all people, was the one who inducted him into the Hall of Fame. So when anything happens with Lawler, you mentioned the heart attack live on the air in 2012 on Monday Night Raw. Like, that was one of the scariest things I had ever seen. But I always think, man, this guy had William Shatner, do his induction, and William Shatner is not a guy that lends his name out to much of anything unless he believes in it. So it was a very cool moment. So wishing the very best for Jerry the King Lawler. Speaking of the very best, here we go. Next weekend, the two major promotions in the world are going head-to-head on pay-per-view or a premium live event. We have seen teases about it when it was AEW going head-to-head with NXT, but now it's World Wrestling Entertainment going head-to-head with All Elite Wrestling, and make no mistake about it, WWE is the aggressor in this. It happens September the 20th, next Saturday. Both of these companies are putting on premium live events or pay-per-view events in the case of AEW, and they're pulling out all the stops. Well, I guess all the stops in terms of what they have at their disposal. That is certainly the case with AEW. They will be presenting their All Out, a pay-per-view event from Toronto, Canada. The problem is their star power is not there right now. A lot of their biggest names are off TV, are injured, and they're trying to do everything and anything to make this event must see for the general or the general pro wrestling fans. AEW fans, hardcore fans, they're going to buy this show. They're going to watch this show no matter what. That's their brand, and I appreciate that. But if you are a casual pro wrestling fan and you're trying to get new eyeballs, new interest, I'm sorry to say this event is not going to be that for you. With the exception of maybe a big tag team match, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago here on the program, where Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are going to team up to take on FTR. But their main event, gentlemen, Hangman Adam Page is going to be defending the AEW World Championship against Kyle Fletcher. Now, take nothing away from the in-ring skills of both these guys, but when I see this at the top of the card, it's not enough for me to fork out the $49.95 or however much the traditional pay-per-view is going to be, because AEW is still very much operating on that pay-per-view model. Yeah. On the flip side of this, WWE very aggressively decided to jumpstart their debut on ESPN by presenting Wrestlepalooza live from Indianapolis. Sidebar, Indianapolis is also where College Game Day will be held on that day. And who's the co-host of that? One Pat McAfee. Very, very strategic move by WWE. And listen, there's a part of me that chuckles because they have the kind of power to make this happen. But I'm also kind of sad for a general wrestling fan, because now they have to choose one or the other, right? Now, to counter that, and to his credit, and I don't give him a lot of credit because I don't believe in a whole lot of what he does, but AEW President Tony Khan decided to move the start time of All Out so it doesn't go head-to-head with ESPN's first showing of a WWE premium live event. I do applaud his efforts. Now, I just found out that WWE tried to also do the same thing. But they were denied because of the programming conflicts with the college games that are happening that day. But, like I said, I got to give credit where it's due. Tony Khan tried to do the right thing, so it wasn't a direct head-to-head. But moving a pay-per-view to 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon, Brian, is going to be a tall task, especially if you are a sports fan and you're looking at some of these marquee college games that are going on. You look at a Hangman Page, Kyle Fletcher main event for the world title. You're also having a casket match with Jon Moxley and Mark Briscoe. Other stars are going to be on, like the Hurt Syndicate's going to be on that show. Mercedes Moné is going to be on that show. But in the grand scheme of things, brother, I just don't see this being one of those shows that's going to change the course of history, even if it is just all elite wrestling history. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, I agree. And at this point, especially, I mean, AEW can't help their injuries. So maybe they just be like, all right, we're going to just take this one on the chin. Like, maybe we don't go all out on this card, being we're already going against them, we're already injured. Like, sometimes you just got to go forth with what you got and hope for the best. Like you said, that is a great tag team match. Mm-hmm. And honestly, rewind back that footage, and when he said about the main event, Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher, look at my face, because you said Kyle Fletcher, and in my mind, I heard Timothy Thatcher. Oh. And I was like, what? Oh, my God, that's awful. So that's a little bit better than in my head. But, yeah, I was like, whew. And the thing is, too, is if you look at the target audience for wrestling fans, what they are now, it's like middle-aged adult males. You are going to have a problem because you are going to be facing a lot of people that also are – that's the same fan base for college football.
Absolutely.
So if you're against the wall, you're just going to have to be like, this is what we can do. We moved the time. Let's just hope for the best. Next PLE, we'll do better.
Right. Q, Was this a jerk move by WWE to program Wrestlepalooza? Because AEW already had this date established. They had tickets on sale in Toronto. Now, back in the day, even though the Survivor Series was created specifically to counter-program Starrcade, the Royal Rumble was created to counter-program the Bunkhouse Stampede, I think it was called. They put that on USA Network.
Yep.
So this isn't necessarily foreign territory, but the aggressiveness of this, because we went on the PFC network with an episode once the ESPN deal was announced. And we're like, okay, they're going to debut this next April. WrestleMania 42 was theoretically going to be the kickoff of their partnership with ESPN. I mean, a month or two jumpstart, I see, but we are in September. And they directly went up against AEW for this, and they're putting on a huge card for this. This is, dare I say, WrestleMania level matches that we're dealing with for next Saturday for a brand new event. It's not in a stadium, it's in a 20,000 seat arena. But man, they are pulling out all the stops. Was this a bad move by WWE, like bad faith, if you are a general wrestling fan?
Well, I see it like this. I mean, WWE is pretty much like AEW, give me your lunch money. You know, I'm going to jump you, I'm going to take you out back, and I'm going to beat you up. And I'm going to take your lunch money, I'm going to take your shoes. You know, WWE is like, they are very aggressive. And we see how TKO is. We just got done talking about them going to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania. I mean, they're trying to choke the life out of AEW.
Yeah.
And you know what? As a fan, this is great. I mean, I don't want to see neither company go down. Like, I want to see AEW succeed as well, because there's content everywhere. We are not starving from content. No. I mean, there's content. You have the ability to choose. You don't have to say, you know, I don't know if I want to see Wrestlepalooza. I wish AEW was on, you know. You don't have to do that, you know. There's so much content. It's almost too much for some of these fans. But just seeing them go head to head, to me, I'm having a good time, man, as a fan. And it's funny to me how aggressive WWE is against AEW like that, man. Like, dang, dude.
Right.
just choke them out.
You're wrong. It's definitely a jerk move. And we know what you did, Eric Bischoff, by going live against us right now. And you're doing the same
live right
thing.
now. Yeah, he's doing the same
and
thing.
me saying that, do not any of you guys watching this switch over.
No,
this is where
man.
You want to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's look at some of these matches that they have scheduled for Wrestlepalooza. After the announcement of Naomi's pregnancy and her vacating the Women's World Championship, the two top contenders will go one-on-one on Saturday, September the 20th, when Io Sky is going to be going up against Stephanie Vaquer. These are two of the most exciting in-ring performers on Monday Night Raw right now. That's not Rhea Ripley. Io and Stephanie, vacant world title. Brian, who's your pick in this?
Stephanie, and I think they, even with Rhea in the title, I think that they might be the two most entertaining. We've seen this match twice. We've seen it get interrupted twice. I am so looking forward to see this come to a conclusion, and hopefully we actually see a conclusion this time.
You're right. Well, I feel like with whoever emerged, we have to fill this vacancy.
Yep.
They haven't had a women's world champion in a couple of weeks now since Naomi had to vacate the title with her pregnancy announcement. The impending arrival of little Jimmy, but be that as it may. Q, what's your take here?
MVP, Big Jim. Boy, oh boy, did he set this match up nicely for us. I mean, I'm so happy.
He did not proceed with caution.
He did not proceed with caution. And you know what? Kudos, man. I'm glad we finally get to see Io and Stephanie. This would not have happened if Big Jim didn't yeet all over the place. So this This right here is the match I've been waiting for. Now,
Clip that.
as far as EO, as far as the who's gonna win this match, I think they did a poor job building Stephanie up. I mean, she's been off
She's been
television
off air for like a month.
Yeah, I mean, no appearances, nothing. Where's she? Ever since we heard Stephanie Veracro, we haven't seen her.
Right.
Like she just haven't been around. I believe this is Io's match to win because Rhea has to defeat Io, and they're going to Australia.
For
to
Crown
do that,
Jewel, yeah.
For Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
So this is the
I
setup.
see that being a #1 contenders match.
No, they need the championship in that one, man. They need the. This is. Io has been the best to me. She's been the best performer out of the men and the women in ring. Rhea has been one of the best characters in WWE, and she's one of the most over. That's a big. You can probably, if they don't have Roman or John Cena on the card, you could probably main event the Crown Jewel, or was it?
Yeah.
Is it Crown Jewel? Mm-hmm. Crown Jewel pay-per-view with Io and Rhea.
I would agree with that, especially with it being in Australia. That's, you know, Rhea's backyard and stuff like that. So I could see that. I worry that the Kabuki Warriors are going to have a hand in this. They're going to cost Io Sky the title. I see, you know, there's a lot of hype right now behind Stephanie, and is she ready for that push? No, I don't think that she is, but I think they're going to pull the swerve because of the interference with the Kabuki Warriors. Another big tag team match that's going to take place at Wrestlepalooza, we're going to see the reunited Usos, Jimmy and Jay, taking on the Vision's Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed. This is going to be a we've seen these four guys against each other in singles matches. Jimmy Uso now back in the fold full time, it seems like. The controversial actions of Jay Uso seemingly turning heel on LA Knight last week on Monday Night Raw. On paper, this is a good tag team match. I'm low-key sad that the Usos are reunited because I believe so much in Jay Uso as a single star. But this is one of these things where he's actually helping his brother out here. You know, that's how I look at it. Q, I'm actually looking for Breaker and Reed to pull the upset here. What's your take?
Same. The Usos, well, specifically Jay, has made another enemy. So you got the wild card in LA Knight, you know, getting this receipt, so to speak, on Jay Uso costing him the match. Hopefully not, because I'm so sick of WWE interferences because
It's getting bad.
they have been out of control. But yeah, I can see LA Knight coming to get that receipt and seeing the Browns go over here.
Yeah. Brian, what do you think here?
Yeah, I think the Bronies are gonna take it. Man, I think it's shocking though that they're gonna put the Usos back together finally, and they're gonna have them have a loss right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to believe that will be the way it goes.
I look at it as this is one of the greatest tag teams in the history of WWE that is giving the rub to a new tag team.
They're bulletproof.
That's how I see. Yeah, they've already established themselves as a premier team in all of WWE's history books, but Breaker and Reed need this match more than the Usos do. If you want to keep the Vision relevant or at the top of the Monday Night Raw field. Another big tag team match that we're going to see, a rarity in WWE, a mixed tag team match when CM Punk will be teaming up with his returning wife, AJ Lee, to take on the other power couple on Monday Night Raw, World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch. The pop that AJ Lee got, I mean, the worst kept secret in all of wrestling this year so far. But it did not diminish the reaction that she got on her return last Friday night on SmackDown in Chicago, Illinois. This is the Punk and AJ show, in my view. What do you think, real quick?
Yeah, I mean, you have people emotionally invested in this one because I've seen some of the watch-alongs that a lot of people did online, and people were crying. I've never seen so many tears. I thought somebody had died or something. But yeah, AJ Lee has a special connection, you know, and she hasn't even done that much, but she's done enough to have such a special connection with the audience, and I think they might capitalize on that. This match here is the more unpredictable one because, you know, I don't think Punk and AJ really get hurt by losing to Seth and Becky because how established they are. I mean, they've been the power couple, or they've been, you know, two of the most powerful for a long time. So this one, you know, just like you said about the Bronze, they kind of need to keep the vision strong. I might have to go with Seth and Becky here for a surprise.
Well, he is the World Heavyweight Champion. She is the Intercontinental Champion, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. Brian, what's your opinion?
I completely disagree with you. But even though I disagree with you, I don't hate you and I won't do anything.
Yeet.
I would say this is CM Punk and AJ for sure. It's in Indianapolis, very close to Illinois, very close to Chicago. I think you'll see a lot of Chicago fans there. With them both being belt holders, I think with AJ and CM Punk winning, that's why we will see those title matches in the future. So I think it's going to be CM Punk and AJ.
All right. And then the match that this show was built around upon the announcement of the new WWE deal with ESPN, John Cena, the greatest of all time, as they say, the never seen 17, will be going one-on-one with the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. Anytime these two have hooked it up, Q, it has been nothing short of a brawl, hard-hitting. Blood is going to be spilled in Indianapolis, I feel like. What's your takeaway here?
Yeah, probably Brock's blood. I mean, John Cena's blood is very expensive nowadays. Yeah, as far as this match, this is big, but there's so many other talent that I would rather see Cena in the ring with. You know, I can see Cena going over because you want to keep him strong towards his last match. So somebody, and I was telling Brian, you know, I would love to see like Oba Femi come up and be the last one and defeat John Cena. Then they just skyrocket him, give him that Brock Lesnar rub.
Right.
You know, so I don't see, Brock does not need to beat John Cena at all.
I was kind of surprised that they brought him back for this, but this is very much the ESPN influence for sure.
Absolutely.
Brian, what's your prediction here?
I without knowing the contract that Brock signed, I think it's kind of hard because we don't know how much how many matches he's signed up for. Is he coming back after this? Because if he's not really, like, it's definitely going to be Cena. But man, I could see them putting Brock over on him. But oh man, this one is 50-50 for me. I'll go Brock just to be the opposite. Let's just keep being divisive against each other.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that. I think Cena is going to win this because you look.
You're wrong.
You look at their previous matches. Lesnar has dominated John Cena.
See, I didn't know because this is my dark years.
Yeah.
I switch. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, what we're going to do, we're going to run a quick timeout. When we come back, we will do this week's Mount Rushmore, and then we have a new segment that we are going to debut here on the show. If you have an opinion, you can call in the show at 810-277-3743. With that, the Fatal 4-Way will be right back live here on ONTV.
9,
8.
Are you or someone you know having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance abuse crisis? 988 connects you to compassionate, confidential support for free.
988.
988 is the new 3-digit dialing code for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. For years, the Lifeline, formerly known as the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, has answered tens of millions of calls and helped people overcome mental health-related distress. 988 is the same trusted resource. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and get you additional help if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone in crisis. Just call, text, or chat 988.
988.
Knowing how to identify signs of crisis in others and help connect them to resources like the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is an important way to prevent suicide in Lake Orion. For information about free suicide prevention trainings offered in our community, please visit the North Oakland Community Coalition at noccmi.org.
988.
Have you ever thought of producing your own podcast? ONTV offers the facilities, equipment, and training to help you get your own podcast off the ground. Learn how to record your show and get it out to the world. Cost is $25 per person, which gives you access to ONTV's podcast room and equipment. For more information, give ONTV a call at 248-393-1060 or visit orionontv.org today.
We welcome you back to the Fatal 4-Way live here on ONTV along with Brian Balfe and Hollywood Q. I'm Jason Klaus, and conspicuous by his absence, although he will be represented here momentarily with this week's Mount Rushmore. We welcome you back to the show. And with that, let's go to this week's Mount Rushmore. Brian, over to you, my friend.
Hey, it's me. We decided we'd do something fun. We decided we'd pick our favorite PLE pay-per-view logos throughout the years. Show me that beautiful bean footage. There we are. My picks. The classic Halloween Havoc. Always been a fan. I'm a fall person. Mm-hmm. So to see the pumpkin and stuff like that, I loved when NXT picked it up and continued the tradition from WCW. One of my favorites. Bash at the Beach. I don't know. There's something about it. I always thought it was fun. I like this one. I also like there was one with the surfboards like this. Love that one. I think it's just fun. Then I had to jump off ship and go a little bit more indie.
International.
International, we'll say. Yeah, that's what the term will go. New Japan, the Battle in the Valley. I saw it. It makes me instantly think of the Karate Kid. Gives me my nostalgia vibes. I am 80s through and through. And to see it with the valley looking like the snake fangs from Cobra Kai, I was like, I don't know if that's what you were planning, but you definitely fit right into that vibe. My last one is Lucha Underground, the Aztec Warfare. I've always been a fan of all those ancient civilizations. You ask my wife, we go to the Chicago Museum. I'm like stuck in that section forever. She even warned the boys, like, hey, Dad's going to be standing here. He's going to be staring. He's going to be reading a lot. Just give him a couple seconds. They actually have one of those giant Aztec wheels made out of stone, and it's like 10 feet tall, like this thick. It's super cool to look at. But that's me.
All right. Very good picks, and I appreciate the diversity of them. I mean, you're all over the world here, so I dig that. Q, let's pull up your Mount Rushmore.
Let's see what I got here. All right, so I went with Wrestlemania 23, which was held in Detroit. You know, so it was special. It was special to me there. Then I went with WrestleMania. What year was that?
37. This was 2021.
Okay. Well, that's not the one I was I was looking for. The one with the roller coaster was the
34.
34. Okay. Well, that's the one. You know, when I look at these logos, I think about the set. I kind of put it all together, and just that whole set was probably one of my favorite sets of all time, and I love the logo that went with it.
My apologies. I went with what you gave me.
Backlash. Stupid autocorrect. Backlash. I love the classic Backlash sets and logos, especially when they used to have the hooks and all that stuff swinging by. And I'm like, man, it looks like somebody's about to get impaled on the way to the ring. Like, that's the way to take somebody out. Then WCW, the Great American Bash, WCW, NWO, they were hot back then. And, you know, the whole 98 scene was just, it was big for business, man. So I just, that's me. I don't have no big, deep meaning behind it with all the Aztec stuff.
All right, very, very good choices here. We'll pull up Sean's. He sent his in. He picked WCW's Fall Brawl War Games. He went with WrestleMania 3, which I was going to pick WrestleMania 3 just because of the Michigan ties and the Silver Dome and stuff like that. He went with another version of the Halloween Havoc logo, one of the later installments of the pay-per-view. Halloween Havoc, I felt like, was their marquee show for WCW. Like, a lot of fans will say it was Starrcade because of the longevity of it. But, man, they really pulled out the stops for Halloween Havoc, and I really appreciated it. I went to the one of the ones at the Joe Louis Arena in '95, the monster truck, where the Yeti came out. We were there for that monstrosity. And then he went with the Great American Bash, very patriotic themed, and I could really appreciate that too.
Maybe they could have the Great American Bash in Saudi Arabia.
Featuring the American Nightmare.
Then we'll pull mine up. I went with WrestleMania 2. It is the only WrestleMania that has the actual number instead of Roman numerals.
Interesting fact.
Yeah. And when they did the Open, like, you see how they did the two in with the separate lines in it. Well, one was for New York, one was for Chicago, one was for Los Angeles, and I really appreciated that. I went with the old school SummerSlam logo, very clean, very basic, very classic. But, man, you saw it on the ring apron, on the blue backdrop. It just really popped. Road Wild for WCW. I really appreciated that show because of the ambiance of it being outdoors in Sturgis with all the motorbikes around the ring. It was just a very cool vibe. It set that show apart from everything else. And then the original Survivor Series logo. I mean, it got no more classic than that, and I just wanted to pay homage. I've always liked the Survivor Series. I hated when they started messing with the format.
I like the old format.
Yeah, teams of
I kind of
five
wish we'd go back to
survive.
that at least once or twice.
Yeah, so I went with the original Survivor Series logo. As we close out this week's show, I got to I have to give credit where it's due. This actually came. Yeah, it's this guy. This idea actually came up last night while we were at our shoot jobs, and Brian had sent me a thing on TikTok, and it really encompassed a lot of what we talked about earlier in the show with the announcement of WrestleMania 43 going to Saudi Arabia, because this all being under the TKO umbrella. Now, Mark Shapiro, who is president of TKO, came out, much like Brian had alluded earlier in the program, and said that Vince McMahon priced his tickets to gear towards families, and that WWE had not been able to really maximize their potential in terms of profit. Well, that got me to thinking. And I was like, well, we could actually talk about this on the show. Brian then counters with, this would be a cool, promo. Well, that's what you're going to get. And starting this week, we will take an aspect of the business or a headline that has really triggered me as a fan or as a promoter or just somebody who is dialed into this world of professional wrestling. Mark Shapiro, you could not be more wrong. in your stance on how you are going forward with what we know as World Wrestling Entertainment. People can say a lot of things about Vince McMahon as the man. He has done a lot of bad things, despicable things. Nobody can argue that. But at the end of the day, what we know as Vince McMahon is the promoter. The man who started with virtually nothing in terms of putting all of his assets in to buy a company, regional company, from his father, with the vision of making it what we now know as this worldwide conglomerate, a powerhouse in the entertainment industry. And the one thing that kept WWF at that time, now WWE, was his focus on his fan base. You can say whatever you want about Vince McMahon as the man, but as a promoter, as a man who was running a wrestling business, he very much kept his finger on the pulse because he made it affordable. Bigger shows got bigger ticket prices, yes. But you can go back to WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome, and you look at what ringside tickets were for that show, where you had 90,000 people in there. Ringside tickets in 1987 for that show were $1,000. Now you're paying $1,000 to just get into the building. I went to WrestleMania this year at Allegiant Stadium for one night, not both, one night. It cost my girlfriend and I over $1,000 to be in that building. It is absolutely insane to see what this merger, with this merger of what we now know as TKO, what they are doing to the business of World Wrestling Entertainment. If you want to jack the prices up on your merchandise, that's one thing. I understand that. Inflation is a bitch. You go to any concert, you're paying $40 for a t-shirt, you're paying $90 for a hoodie, whatever the case may be. I get that. But what you're doing, Mark Shapiro and the rest of TKO, is that you are pricing out your fan base. And for what? You don't care about professional wrestling. You don't care about the entity that is as older than the market of television. The fact of the matter is, professional wrestling has been and will always be based on the family dynamic. Because it ain't just one person who sits in front of the TV on a Monday night, Friday night, Wednesday night, Saturday night, it doesn't even matter. It has been a family-oriented thing. And we see our heroes on TV, and we want to go and see them in person, to cheer for them, to root for them, to boo them, to buy their merchandise. You're making it impossible. And what you're doing systematically is that you are slowly but surely driving the nose of WWE into the ground faster than the Hindenburg. It is insane to me when I see what these ticket prices are. I compare what Samantha and I paid for Monday Night Raw a couple of months ago at Little Caesars Arena versus what I paid on September the 28th, 1998, when Stone Cold drove a Zamboni into the ring. It was a fraction of what you guys are charging now. No, and this argument that WWE is behind on ticket revenue, behind UFC, what metric are you using? Because while I have never attended a UFC event, I have investigated their ticket prices, and they are a fraction of what people are expected to pay for Monday Night Raw, for Friday Night SmackDown. And we're not even talking about the premium live events, because the show in Indianapolis is stupidly priced. And I get it. It's a supply and demand thing. But here's the thing. Not only are you going to keep raising these prices in an effort to line your pockets, you are alienating the fans, the fan base that made professional wrestling a multi-billion-dollar industry. These fans are not going to go to AEW. These fans are not going to support TNA. They are going to abandon professional wrestling as a whole. And then where are you at? But at the end of the day, I understand. I'm a realist. You don't care. All you care about is pulling as every single drop of blood, sweat, and tears off the backs, off the brains of the men and women who literally put their lives on the line to entertain us, the fans. You do not care. All you care about is how much money is in your bank account. There are people in place that could curb this, and they do not, Dwayne Johnson. You are among the biggest disappointments I have ever seen because you are allowing this to happen. You have a very prominent seat on the board of directors for TKO. You are allowing this to happen. So don't sit there and smile in front of the camera and tell the world how much you love professional wrestling when at the end of the day you don't give a crap about professional wrestling because you get your money elsewhere now. And good for you. But don't forget who made you what you are. And it ain't Hollywood. It wasn't the Scorpion King. It was your role as The Rock. And if it wasn't for professional wrestling, Mr. Johnson, you wouldn't be where you are today. And you damn well better remember that. Mark Shapiro and the rest of the decision makers at TKO, you are failing the very people who you are entrusting to line those pockets. Do better. Anything else?
No.
Not at all.
Great. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in here tonight. As a programming note, in 2 weeks' time, we will not be here on ONTV, but instead we will be moving over for one night only over to our platforms on the PFC Entertainment Network on Facebook, YouTube, and Riverside.fm. Check out all of our socials for all the latest information on this show and all of the other great shows. For Brian Balf, Hollywood Q, and Sean Grugel, I am Jason Klaus. We appreciate you all. Go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you in 2 weeks on the Fatal 4-Way, live as a part of the PFC Entertainment Network.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.